Hey everybody, David Chatham here from Angel Oak Creative. Want to welcome everybody to another episode of our Nonprofit State of Minds podcast and video stream here. Grateful for the opportunity to talk about North Carolina and just being a great state of nonprofits. We have guests on where we pick their brains, their nonprofit minds, and really dig in and just learn more about just how North Carolina, how our state, how all of us can be better contributors to building a stronger state of nonprofits. So grateful for that. Today, we have a true change agent on our podcast, Philip Cooper. Welcome, brother. Good to see you, man.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you. And congratulations to you on all that love and impact.
Grateful for that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we just grateful for you and all the work you do. I'm going to introduce Philip here and then let him tell you a little bit about himself. But Philip, you do so much, it's going to take me like 5 minutes to say everything that you're involved in here. But first of all, Philip's Executive Director of Operation Gateway. Look forward to having you tell us a little bit about that. You're also a workforce equity advocate with the Land of Sky Regional Council, and you're a practitioner in residence at the Institute for Emergent Issues. And that's at NC State, right?
Yep. Wolf Pack, go.
Yeah, and then you're also just a change agent. You focus on a lot of things around workforce and reentry, people coming out of incarceration and other situations that maybe put them a few steps behind. And I love following you on social. You are everywhere, and you are truly a change agent. So tell us a little bit about how all of that came to be. You got this idea, Philip. If you we'll make sure people know where to go to get those shirts and how to get them. But tell people how, a little bit about you, a little bit about Operation Gateway, a little bit about change agent. You got a lot to say, I know.
Yeah, most definitely. So, first and foremost, let me say all praise due to the Most High. God is good. Hallelujah. Want to make sure I get that out there, man, because if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I would have lost my mind. I could have died out there in them streets, bro. You know what I'm saying? All these people dying from overdoses, accidental overdoses. I was out there, I was thugging and drugging and doing up to no good, man. But prison saved my life. And so when I went to prison, that's when I was, I was reintroduced to myself. The 12-step recovery process is something that contributed to the success of Change Agent Cooper. God gave me the 12 steps, and the 12 steps reintroduced me to God and gave me a purpose in life. So while I was in prison, I worked as a peer counselor. And when I got out, I told myself I was going to keep that same energy. And I went back to school, and that's where I actually coined the term change agents. When I was in Intro to Human Services Technologies.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, at the AB Tech Community College. And I was in that Intro to Human Services class. And I remember reading that about change agent. And that's when I adopted it, because I had already fully committed to helping my fellow man. I had found purpose in doing that, David. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was on the yard, I was that guy that, that I could say something in the dorm and try to like keep the peace. That's what I did as a peer counselor. And so like I found my purpose in a lot of young guys, that never had positive male role models and stuff. And like even on the yard, I was serving as that. And that's where I found my purpose in. And so over the years, I've worked in the behavioral health space. I've done the substance use counseling. You know what I'm saying? I burn out in that field, though. That's a field I had to be tricky in, bro. And they teach that in school. Yeah. In school, they tell you about like burnout and self-care and stuff. And I go hard no matter what I do. I'm going hard, bro. And so like even in all in. And even in the behavioral health space, I was going super hard and and then in my own recovery, I'm in the recovery community active, and it was just a whole lot of drugs, relapses and deaths and stuff like that with former clients. And I just had to take a break. And then, working for a state funded company, you know what I'm saying? It was like, the resources were not enough to really have the impact that was needed on the individual. So that's how I got introduced to the workforce development space. I went and worked at the community college after I left working at the crisis stabilization unit. And when I started working at the community college, that's when I started learning the ins and outs about these short-term job trainings, earn while you learn, work-based learning, on-the-job training contracts, Workforce Innovative Opportunity Act, aka WIOA, and then I just became like a bridge to the resources, because a lot of formerly incarcerated people were not using those resources or didn't know about those resources. And that's why I came in at, bro, bridging the gaps and leveraging my lived experience to establish that trust to where these people would follow my lead.
Yeah. Well, what's it? Tell me a little bit about Operation Gateway. Was that? I know that's something new
Yeah.
that you got in process.
Yeah, right on, man. Operation Gateway OG. You know what I'm saying? Listen, bro, that's my sticker. You can't see it. There's the
There
sticker.
it is.
Yeah, but so Operation Gateway was my dream, man. No matter where I worked at, I would always do prison reentry work. I'm very passionate about prison reentry. I'm
That's a
passionate about
hard
prison.
field, right?
Yeah, prison ministry. Like, I go inside the prisons and I talk. I go with the 12-step group. I go with the church. Matter of fact, I'm going to Rutherford next week. Like, I love going into prison and
Nice.
sharing my story and inspiring that man in there. You feel me? That man in there that's on the fence that just need a little nudge. And then my
Yeah.
story comes to give him the hope that he needs. Man, I love prison reentry and engaging those guys, because a lot of people, prison say they life just like me. People
Yep.
out there on the drugs, can't quit, trying to sell dope. No, they ain't no good at selling dope. You know what I'm saying? Then they go to prison and then they wake up and they're like, hold up, man, I got to do something different. And this is the population of people that I am most excited about and committed to serving. And so in these different places where I worked at, no matter where I worked at, bro, I would always figure out a way to do reentry. And so what ends up happening is I start raising funding at different places to do reentry, but people would not do it the way I said. They would get the funding, and they would want to loop in jail and prison reentry together. I'm like, no. And so what ends up happening is, through my board service for Just Economics of Western North Carolina, the great Vicky Meath, a good friend of mine, mentor, and she's the executive director of Just Economics. She kind of continued to encourage me to go ahead and do one myself and start a nonprofit. I had got to the point to where I was raising money and using them as a fiscal agent. Yeah. And she was like, bro, you need to start a nonprofit. Like,
go out on your own,
So we started it. We're not fully staffed and stuff just yet. Yeah. We have secured some grants to be able to provide some, resources for folks coming home from prison. We have our 501c3, we have an office space where we're getting out the cell phones, bus passes, helping folks get their medications, clothing when they get out. We got a partnership with Goodwill to where we get those vouchers, shoes, work boots, slip resistant, just different things, eyeglasses. We have a cap on how much we can spend, but it's just different things to go along with the social determinants of health.
Yeah. It's so critical, right? I mean, and there's a lot of good intentions, but when the rubber meets the road, it doesn't always deliver, right? So
it don't. And that's why that lived experience piece is so important, because we know what it's like to get out of prison and all the different components of reentry. ID, like even with the DMV, it's a little tricky right now, so we got to get them there and work our connections, get them there at 5 o'clock in the morning, helping folks get, doing this driver's license restoration. Shout out to the North Carolina Justice Center. We have some funding that we were able to go towards like debt relief, so people can get their driver's license back. So like it really took an ecosystem of reentry stakeholders to be able to improve this process in Buncombe County.
Well, God bless you for all that you do and all that work.
Thank you.
I would encourage, how can people find out about Operation Gateway real quick?
Yeah, so I have a website and it's still a work in progress.
Aren't we all a work in progress?
You better preach. Hallelujah. Listen, what they say, recovery is a journey, not a destination.
That's right. That's right.
But as far as the website is www.operationgateway.org. Awesome. And I am looking forward to getting it more up to date and it just bringing it more alive. So like if people want to make donations or whatever, they can still do that from there. They can read a little bit about what we do. But I'm going to eventually make it come alive as we secure more funding, so I can have more of those website digital media ninjas to come on and spice that thing up.
Well, good. Well, we'll be following you and we'll be keeping up with how that's going. So definitely trying to find out ways we can support you. You work, obviously you've got your own nonprofit now, but you worked with a lot of nonprofits and you get exposed to a lot of nonprofits in your work. How important are nonprofits to you're in Asheville, you're in Western North Carolina. How important are nonprofits in your area and the work that they do and where you are and across the state?
Man, nonprofits are very important. They're closest to the community, grassroots, man, closer to the issues. Some of the folks that are more like on the government side of the systems level, they don't have the capability to get as close to the community as the nonprofits. And so the nonprofits are needed. They're a major contributor to ecosystems, depending upon what you got going on. You can talk reentry ecosystems, you can talk recovery ecosystems, you can talk economic development. When you start looking
Yeah.
at wanting to get access to more of these underrepresented, marginalized communities, the nonprofits are typically the trusted organizations that can get access to those communities and get resources to those communities. Even in COVID response, bro, like whenever
Yeah.
COVID hit and they was trying to figure out ways to get PPE in these rural areas, who were the ones that got it out there? It wasn't necessarily the governmental agency. It was the nonprofit contractors, bro, that was
Yeah.
getting out there and getting those resources to the people. So yes, nonprofits are very important, especially when we're talking about healing, when we're talking about proximity, when we're talking about social cohesion, baby.
Yeah.
We got to have the nonprofits.
Well, so those nonprofits that you've seen really be effective, right? That they're good stewards of their money. They're really impactful on the street. They're making a difference. They're change agents, right?
Mhm.
What does that look like? What common characteristics of those folks do those nonprofits have? What do they have in common?
Well, a couple of things. One I'll say is that proximity, because you can see people on social media, might do an activity or two and take pictures while they're doing it to make it look like they're doing all of this stuff on their website. But then there's another thing when we talk about consistent proximity and these trusted nonprofits who are out there. So the key piece I would say is trust.
Yeah.
They're trusted by the community served. That's a major key. Also, another thing that's good is when they have the support, when they
Yeah.
have the support of people that have skill sets. Because what can happen with a nonprofit is they can do really, really good work, but they can't do everything. And so
Yeah.
having a working board or a board or even connections with people who are supporting the nonprofit to address the skills gap or wherever the learning curve is. Because like with me, I'm so blessed with my board. Shout out to the board that we have, because like I got people stepping up on the technology side. I got people stepping up on the accounting side, because like I was doing the 1099s and I was getting busy. I was getting busy, bro. And then Libby was on me like, hold up, bro. That's not what you need to be doing. You need
Right.
to be doing something else. I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So having that board who is actually contributing, not just there for a name.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that I've seen, and I think you are a great example of this, is collaboration, right?
Yeah.
Bringing people together to work towards the same goal and bringing your special, whether it be your connections or your talent or your resources, together with people, to your point, who they may be in closer proximity to the challenges or to the solutions. How important is that collaboration? What does that look like for you all?
Collaboration is everything, bro, especially in an area like Buncombe County, because like per capita we got like the largest amount of nonprofits, and it's saturated. And
Wow.
so if people don't collaborate, they end up competing, and when they compete,
Oh,
the
yeah.
resources don't get to the people the way that they need to. And so collaboration is everything. Dogwood Health Trust, one of their sayings is partnering with purpose. And so
Yeah.
like even with Operation Gateway,
like
like
that.
we're in close proximity with a nonprofit, ABIPA. ABIPA is Asheville Buncombe Institute for Parity Achievement. So they're more on the healthcare side when you look at preventative health and health education. But we have a strong relationship with them, and they were able to get us strongly connected with MAHEC. You see, so
Yeah.
when you got these collaborations are also empowering you as an organization and getting you connected with other resources, and people are willing. And remember that word I said, trust. Even
Yeah.
with the system don't want to work with everybody, but when the system sees that you're dealing with somebody that they trust, that also contributes to them being able to work with you. Not saying the system is always right, just to be clear,
No,
but
sure.
just saying
Sure.
whenever I'm talking about the healthcare system and social and a person is returning home from the penitentiary needing to get connected to healthcare resources, I want to leverage the relationships I have so that it'll be expedited, right?
Yeah.
So they don't got to wait till last minute to take care of something. And in health is something that people sometimes don't pay as much attention to in a reentry space. Like they're thinking housing and a job. Okay,
Yeah.
housing and a job, but we need to be talking about health as soon as possible as well, because we want to make sure you can retain the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Mental health, physical health, right?
Mental
I
health.
mean,
Oh, yes, yes, sir. All of
you,
that, bro. Mental
you
health,
know,
physical health, continuity of care. And we do our assessments 90 days before a person get out of prison. And
wow.
so that collaboration we have, like I say, with ABIPA, that's one of our strongest collaborators. It's a major key. And even collaborating with like Friends at Land of Sky, which is a nonprofit that's housed at the Land of Sky Regional Council. So having a nonprofit partner over there to where they get donations and some funding that they have might could go towards something like that we needed to buy. We ain't got no more money towards on our budget to spend on a person. Then we can tap in with another organization who might have
Yeah.
resources to help with this particular need.
Tell us a little bit about Land of Sky, what you do there.
Yeah, so I'm the workforce equity advocate at Land of Sky Regional Council. And so in this role, it's Department of Labor funded. I'm overseeing a team of community health workers, and I'm the project director, but I'm still going by the term workforce equity advocate. But
Sure.
what we're doing is we're utilizing the community health worker model, which is an evidence-based practice, and we're doing targeted outreach in areas that have high poverty and high crime. And
Wow.
this is a workforce development program that the Department of Labor funded. Shout out to the Department of Labor, even for addressing, the violence prevention piece as something that contributes
Yeah.
to workforce development. Because like the reality of it is, my brother, is a lot of the crime that we see, a lot of the drugs and all this other stuff is preceded by poverty. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And a lot of these people don't have any workforce development training, soft skills training. I don't even like to call it soft skills. I would rather call it essential skills. But
Yeah.
in these areas, we're going to be able to have that targeted outreach to 18 to 24-year-olds and get these underemployed or unemployed, whatever it may be, into workforce development opportunities. We doing earn while you learn, so where we have stipends for folks that go into short-term trainings at the
Yeah.
community college. And we also have up to $9 an hour that can go towards their salary. So if an
Wow.
employer is paying somebody $20 an hour for that first 90 days, they only got to pay them $11 an hour, because we're going to be paying $9 towards the $20
Oh,
an hour.
that's great.
Oh,
What a
yeah.
program.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And I mean, and some of these problems are, whether to your point, whether it be poverty or homelessness or hunger or mass incarceration or whatever it is, right? I mean, those are all, whether you call them systemic or some other kind of problems, right? They're embedded in our communities, right? And
Yeah.
it takes something disruptive to be able to stop that cycle, right? I mean, and it's not anything one person and probably even one organization can do, right?
Yep.
It means that we've all got to work together and come together for that purpose. And so, I admire you all for being one of those change agents there, right? That is really digging in and making Western North Carolina, become an example of what it could look like, right?
Yep.
Yep. What, you get a magic wand, right? Let me give you a magic wand here a minute.
Uh-oh.
And you wave that wand, what's the one thing that you wish, would happen with North Carolina nonprofits that are working in the community? What is the one thing that you're like, man, if I could just make this happen, it would just change things, right? So is there any one thing that would, that you could see making just such a big difference for nonprofits in our state?
Yeah, man, I would like to see a shift in the application process. One thing that I've seen with
You mean for grant applications?
yeah, grant applications and stuff
Okay.
like that, because like there are some organizations that are doing some really, really good work, but like sometimes these applications are cumbersome and all of that. And like what if there was a video application? Like I seen a funder,
There
CoThink,
you go.
they did video applications to where a person could do the video. I would like to see a shift in that, because that culture just needs to change. Because when you start thinking of these smaller nonprofits, like I said, bro, like grant writing is its own beast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But just because the person don't have the capacity to write that grant, don't mean that they can't do that work. And a lot of times people be busy doing the
Oh, I
work.
love it.
They be so busy doing the work. So I would say that. And one other thing, I would also start to figure out, ways to have more incentives for collaborations, not like forced collaborations to where it'd
Right.
be just like a fake relationship, but like having some incentives for partnerships. so that more nonprofits will, be innovative in how they can work together, because together is better. That's what I've learned. Together is always better. And as you said, one organization can't tackle everything, especially when we're looking at it through the public health lens of tackling the root causes. Typically, the root causes needs a multifaceted response in order to address it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, when we at the end of last year, we did a little giveaway at Angel Oak. We gave away like $6,000 at the end of it, and we did that. We said, look, give us a 1-minute video or 100 words or less of how this money is going to impact your organization, right?
Yep.
And we got 40 something submissions, and people, they nailed it. Those videos were powerful. And you're looking somebody in the eye at least, right? And you're able to feel their passion, and you can't get that on a grant application, right?
You can't. You
So,
can't.
no, that's a great one. I love that.
And it's dry. It's dry on that paper.
Yeah, and I was, my first, I mentioned to you, I talked to JAMA at the State Employees Credit Union Foundation, and that's something they're working on, is to really simplify their application, because a lot of them have found that it just can be too cumbersome and too burdensome for people. So I love that. What encouragement can you give to nonprofit leaders? What challenge or what encouragement would you give them, going, we're a couple of months into 2023 now, but what encouragement would you give them going forward?
Self-care. Take care of yourself. We can get caught up in trying to change the world, man, and it's something that my mentor stays on me. And shout out to my coach that I had, Lester Young from Just Leadership USA. I'm grateful. Pastor Woods, Vicky Meath, Celeste Collins. These are all nonprofit executive directors who has contributed to the success of Philip Cooper.
Yeah.
And one commonality across the board, my friend, has been, take care of yourself. The spirit is very important. And I know, I'm not trying to take people to church, though. I will take them to church. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. But I'll tell you, my man, I got to take care of my spirit. Because see, when I take care of my spirit, that's when my motives stay in check. And as a nonprofit leader, we have to keep our motives in check, so we don't be trying to jump on everything and this and that, what's trending. We got to stay rooted and take care of our spirit, operate with integrity, you see, and not to complicate talking about spirituality, but as a 12-step guy, one of the things we learn is spiritual principles.
Yeah.
No matter what you believe in, spiritual principles can still apply, no matter if you believe in deity or not. And so, take care of yourself and take care of your spirit, operating with those spiritual principles. That's the way you continue to sustain the good work and it doesn't get tainted.
Yeah, because it's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Come on.
I mean, we've got to, if we want to be in this for the long haul, we've got to be willing and able to take care of our own needs and our own self, right?
Yep.
So I think that's great. Well, thank you, first of all, Philip, for taking some time, brother. I love what you're doing out there. I'm gonna come see you sometime soon. So next time you're in Raleigh, be sure you look us up too. I want to introduce you to some of the Angel Oak team here. But just thank you for all that you're doing. You inspire me every day with if you guys don't follow Philip on social media, I'm telling you, it's worth the effort to click the follow or the like, because he will challenge you, he will encourage you, he'll pray for you, and he'll take you to church every now and then. So
yes, sir.
We're grateful for that. Tell people how they can learn more about the different places that you're involved in, and how they can reach out to you if they want to become a change agent.
Right on, brother. So I'm on LinkedIn, super active LinkedIn, and you can find me at Change Agent Cooper. Same thing on Facebook, Change Agent Cooper. Those are the platforms that I'm the most active on. So if you want to keep up with me there, I also have a YouTube channel, and maybe you can guess what it is. Change Agent Cooper.
That's
So you can find me on there on my YouTube channel. I try to keep that content coming because I have a lot of experience, strength, and hope. And
Yeah.
and I have to share it, man. If I didn't, it would be blasphemy. And then the Operation Gateway website is www.operationgateway.org.
I'm impressed you got operationgateway.org, man. That was that must have been ordained.
It
So,
was ordained.
that was good stuff. Well, Philip, thank you, brother. We'll look forward to following you. And that's how I connected with you on LinkedIn. So you do
Mhm.
respond, and I know you probably get a lot of guys like me reaching out to you. So I appreciate you taking a few minutes there, and look forward to staying in touch and just continuing to try to achieve that level of change agent one day. So thank you
yeah.
for setting the bar.
Oh man, thank you for having me, and congrats again on the love and impact.
Yeah, we'll sounds good. We'll talk to you soon. For people, you can certainly keep up with us at Angel Oak Creative at angeloakcreative.com. We're on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram, and would love to have you do that. We've got our new podcast, Nonprofit State of Mind. You can find us on the podcast platform. So look for you there. And we also have a YouTube channel. So we're about as many places as you can be. So, well, Philip, God bless you, brother. Look forward to staying in touch, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, God bless you too, my brother.